I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you are standing at the base of the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Just, baking in that brutal desert sun.
Exactly. You're looking up at millions of massive stone blocks, and all your life, you've been taught that what you are looking at is, well, a tomb.
Right. A staggering monument to a dead king.
But what if, instead of a mausoleum, you're actually looking at a massive, functioning, extraterrestrial laboratory?
I mean, it is a profound shift in perspective, to say the least.
Oh, total.
Entertaining that idea, it completely upends our fundamental understanding of human history, architectural capability, and even biology.
And that is the exact shift we are exploring in today's Deep Dive. We're venturing into a highly unconventional, honestly incredibly provocative text.
Yeah, it's an excerpt from an essay titled "There is a Supernatural Soul in the Universe," written by an author named Xifeng.
The mission for us today is to impartially unpack this author's truly bold claim. The idea that a supernatural creator, utilizing alien architects, built the pyramids not as resting places for pharaohs, but as, wait for it, colossal energy accumulators designed for the actual physical creation of life.
Which is wild. And we should probably set some ground rules for you as we dive into this material.
Yeah, definitely.
Because the claims we are going to explore today are, by conventional archaeological standards, out there. I mean, we're going to be talking about everything from prehistoric nuclear waste to a live 4,000-year-old cat.
A live cat, yes.
But our goal today is not to take a side, right? And we are not here to aggressively debunk. We just want to explore the fascinating internal logic, the intricate mathematical anomalies, and the radically alternative history that this specific source text presents.
Okay, let's unpack this. And we really have to start with the sheer mind-boggling physical scale of the pyramids as the author lays it out.
Right, because the logistical puzzle is really the foundational bedrock of this whole extraterrestrial theory.
Exactly. So the essay focuses heavily on the Khufu pyramid, which is what we call the Great Pyramid. It stands 146.5 meters high.
Which is essentially a 40-story skyscraper made entirely of solid rock right in the middle of a desert.
Yes. And the author points out it is built from roughly 2.3 million individual stones.
And we aren't talking about easily manageable clay bricks here either.
Not at all.
The absolute lightest of these stones is around 1.5 tons, with the average hovering right around 2.5 tons.
It's just hard to even visualize.
Well, and some of the granite blocks used in the interior chambers weigh up to 80 tons. So the total weight of the structure is estimated at nearly 6.8 million tons of rock.
Which, I mean, when numbers get that big, they almost lose their meaning.
They really do.
But the essay uses this brilliant analogy that makes it visceral. Imagine loading all of that stone into modern heavy-duty trucks, the kind you see on the highway that can carry 7 tons of cargo each.
Yeah, right.
You would need 970,286 of those trucks.
Almost a million massive trucks.
Yes, and if you park them bumper to bumper, the line would stretch for 6,200 kilometers. To put that in perspective for you, that is longer than the entire distance from the southernmost tip of China to its absolute northernmost point.
Wow.
Just an unbroken line of massive vehicles completely full of rock.
Which brings us to what the text identifies as the fundamental population paradox.
Right, because who is moving all this rock?
Exactly. The standard historical narrative suggests that massive fleets of human laborers built this over a period of decades. But Xifeng calculates that to quarry the stone, transport it, feed the workers, manage the logistics, and defend a project of this unimaginable magnitude.
You'd need an army.
A massive one. You would need a supporting national workforce of about 50 million people.
50 million?
Yeah. Think about the agriculture alone required to feed a workforce of that size in a desert environment.
It gets worse when you look at the math regarding global demographics around 3000 BC, too.
Oh, it completely falls apart. According to the data presented in the source, the entire global population at that time likely did not exceed 20 million people.
Wait, on Earth?
Not just in ancient Egypt, on the entire planet Earth.
So the people literally just didn't exist.
Exactly. So the mathematical reality of the available human labor force simply does not align with the physical reality of the structure standing in front of us.
Okay, fine, but let's assume the population numbers are smaller. Surely human innovation bridges that gap, right? I mean, we've all seen the textbook illustrations of thousands of workers pulling ropes.
Sure, the classic ramp and log images.
Yeah. Even without 50 million people, what about beasts of burden? You hook up 50 cattle or horses to a giant wooden sled, You lay down some logs to act as rollers, and you just pull the stones across the sand.
Well, this raises an important question, and it is one the author directly anticipates by deconstructing those exact traditional theories.
Okay, let's hear it.
Let's look at the log rolling theory first. Ancient Egypt was not exactly a heavily forested region, right?
Right. It's mostly sand.
Their primary source of timber was the palm tree. From a purely mechanical standpoint, palmwood is incredibly soft, it's flexible, and the trees grow extremely slowly.
Yeah, I see where this is going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to use palm trunks as heavy-duty industrial rollers for 2.5-ton blocks of solid limestone,
They just get crushed.
exactly, they don't roll, they just crush under the immense weight and splinter right into the sand.
Okay, well, what about the horses and sleds then?
The historical timeline contradicts it. Horses and wheeled carts did not widely arrive in Egypt until the 16th century BC.
Wait, really?
Yeah, which is a full 1,000 years after the Khufu pyramid was allegedly completed.
Oh, wow. Okay, but what about water transport? Like floating the stones down the Nile River on barges?
Well, the author notes a massive geographical hurdle that often gets ignored there. Yes, archaeologists found an ancient port near the site, but there is a sheer rocky drop of at least 50 feet between the water's surface and the plateau where the pyramid actually sits.
Oh, so you still have to get the rocks up the cliff.
Exactly. How do you move millions of multi-ton stones 50 feet straight up a rocky cliff face without, modern pulleys, steel cables, winches, or hydraulic lifts?
It's an absolute logistical nightmare.
Completely.
And since human logistics supposedly fail so spectacularly here, the essay takes a sharp turn into alternative theories, which I love.
Yeah, it pivots hard.
Because if a massive human workforce didn't somehow drag natural stones across the desert and hoist them up a cliff, how did the material get there? And more importantly, how is it shaped with such perfection?
So the source introduces a fascinating theory initially proposed by French industrial chemist, suggesting that we are fundamentally misunderstanding the material itself.
This is the part that really got me.
It's wild, right? This theory argues that these aren't carved natural stones at all. They are artificial stones,
Like concrete.
specifically a geopolymer.
Yeah.
Essentially, the builders used an ancient, incredibly advanced form of chemical concrete made from a mixture of dissolved limestone, natural aggregates, crushed shells, and a highly potent liquid adhesive.
And the evidence the author uses to back this up is crazy. The text claims that a 2.5-centimeter human hair was discovered trapped completely inside the matrix of one of the solid stone blocks.
Which is pretty damning if true.
Right, because if you are chiseling a solid block of limestone out of a natural quarry, a human hair doesn't miraculously get embedded deep in the center of the rock.
Obviously not.
But if you are pouring a thick liquid mixture into a wooden mold, well, a worker leaning over the vat could easily drop a hair in.
Yeah, it completely circumvents the entire transportation problem. You aren't dragging 2.5-ton rocks up a ramp.
No.
You are carrying manageable buckets of aggregate and liquid adhesive to the site and literally pouring the pyramid in place.
Which is brilliant. And that geopolymer theory also begins to explain the impossible architectural precision that Xu Feng highlights next.
Oh, the precision is staggering. The purported designer of the pyramid, Imhotep, achieved things that still baffle modern structural engineers.
Give me some examples.
Well, the foundation of the Great Pyramid covers 52,900 square meters. Yet when leveling this massive, naturally uneven, rocky outcrop, the error rate is less than 1/10,000th of an inch.
That's insane.
There is only a microscopic 1.27-centimeter height difference between the southeast and northwest corners.
And they supposedly did this without modern laser levels or motorized grading equipment. Not to mention there is no wood or iron nails used anywhere to hold the structure together.
Right, none.
The stones fit together so tightly, held only by gravity and precision, that you cannot even slide a modern razor blade between the seams.
And let's follow the logic of the essay deeper into the structure. Deep inside the pyramid, in the pitch black, there are narrow vent holes aiming out from the king's and queen's chambers.
And they aren't just for air circulation, right?
No, not at all. The author emphasizes that they perfectly target the ancient positions of the constellations Draco and Orion.
Wow.
Now, modern scientists have used robotic instruments to analyze the dust inside these deep chambers, dust that has supposedly been settling undisturbed for 4,600 years.
And what did they find?
They found absolutely zero traces of soot or ash.
Which is a huge problem for the traditional narrative, because if you are a listener trying to piece together how this was done, you have to ask if they were deep underground, in total darkness, pouring perfectly aligned astronomical vent holes and carving intricate passages. What were they using for light?
Exactly.
Because torches or oil lamps would inevitably leave a thick layer of carbon soot on the ceiling. Now, standard archaeology tries to explain this by suggesting they used a massive system of highly polished bronze mirrors, to reflect sunlight from the outside down the shafts and into the chambers.
But the author completely rejects that mirror theory.
It doesn't hold up.
From a purely physical standpoint, reflecting light down long, narrow corridors and around corners results in massive diffusion.
Oh, sure, it scatters.
Yeah, by the time the light reaches the deep interior, it would be far too dim to perform microscopic masonry. Therefore, Shufeng concludes, they must have had access to some unknown, non-combustive lighting technology.
Like electricity.
Electricity, or something akin to it.
Which brings us to the mathematical anomalies embedded in the pyramid's very dimensions. The text argues that the architecture is essentially a codified map of cosmic mathematics.
The math in this essay is truly mind-bending.
It is. Let me run through a few of the equations the author highlights. If you take the pyramid's overall weight and multiply it by 10 to the 15th power, you get the exact weight of the planet Earth.
Which is just the start.
Right. If you take the pyramid's original height and multiply it by 1 billion, you get the exact distance from the Earth to the Sun, roughly 150 million kilometers.
Incredible.
And if you divide the base perimeter by twice the pyramid's height, you arrive at pi perfectly, 3.14159.
What's fascinating here is the chronological paradox these numbers create. It's staggering.
How so?
The author uses this data to argue a point of impossibility. The builders clearly possessed advanced scientific and astronomical knowledge millennia before human historians say these concepts were even discovered.
Right, because for them to intentionally encode the distance to the sun, they would need a functional understanding of advanced orbital mechanics and heliocentrism.
Thousands of years before Galileo or Copernicus.
Yeah. So how does the author possibly explain them arriving at that math?
Well, the author doesn't believe humans did arrive at it. The Pythagorean theorem, the precise calculation of pi, the knowledge of the oblateness of the Earth.
The oblateness?
Yeah, the fact that it bulges at the equator. All of this is baked into the physical masonry thousands of years before Pythagoras, before the Chinese mathematician Zhu Chengzi, and before Columbus.
So the implication is that this knowledge was imported, not discovered.
Exactly.
Okay, so if we follow the essay's logic to its natural next step, these structures were not built by a human workforce. They're made of a synthetic poured stone, and they feature exact, omniscient cosmic math.
Right.
Therefore, they must have a highly specific, highly advanced technological function. They are not just giant, mathematically perfect tombstones.
Precisely. The text asks a very logical question. Why go to such monumental, physics-defying lengths, utilizing secret chemistry and orbital mathematics, just to store a single human corpse?
It doesn't make sense.
No. The author argues that the shape and the specific materials of the pyramids serve a functional energetic purpose. They act as what the text explicitly calls microwave resonating cavities.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, and I want to make sure we understand the physics of what the author is claiming here. In our modern world, a microwave oven works by using a magnetron to blast electromagnetic waves into a metal box.
Right, your standard kitchen appliance.
Exactly. The metal walls trap the waves, bouncing them back and forth, amplifying the energy until it cooks your food. The text claims the pyramid is doing the exact same thing, but with cosmic radiation.
That is the underlying mechanism proposed. The interior chambers are made of highly conductive granite, which contains quartz.
Okay.
The author posits this acts as a sort of battery or receiver, absorbing and vibrating with natural cosmic and magnetic frequencies. Meanwhile, the dense limestone outer shell acts as an insulator.
So it traps it.
Yes, it prevents that energy from diffusing outward, effectively trapping and amplifying the invisible waves inside the cavity, just like the metal box in your kitchen microwave.
So according to this, the pyramid is basically a gigantic ancient thermos. The granite interior is the glass flask holding the hot liquid, in this case, the cosmic energy, and the thick limestone is the insulated outer shell, keeping it from leaking out into the desert.
That's a great way to look at it.
And the text outlines some surreal claims about what this energy actually does.
Oh, it gets very weird.
It says that if you place a rusty metal coin inside this pyramid cavity, it quickly becomes shiny and glittery again. If you leave a glass of fresh milk in there, It supposedly stays completely fresh for 24 hours without any refrigeration.
And not just objects, right?
Right. It even claims that spending time in a pyramid cures severe headaches, toothaches, and revitalizes people suffering from chronic exhaustion.
The essay points out that people have actively tested these claims, too.
Really?
Yeah, it details the story of a Czech radio technician named Karl Delbar. In the 1950s, he built a small-scale model of the pyramid, strictly adhering to these exact mathematical proportions.
Okay, and what did he do with it?
He placed a dull razor blade inside it. According to the text, the concentrated cosmic energy actually sharpened the blade's edge at a molecular level.
Shut up.
I'm serious.
Hmm.
The results were apparently so reproducible that he received an official patent for the pyramid blade sharpener from the Czech government in 1959.
That is wild. The text also mentions an Egyptian scientist named Healy who put bean seeds inside a similar model. He supposedly found that the resulting sprouts grew 5 times larger than normal, containing 5 times more chlorophyll.
And the author ties all of this biological and energetic manipulation back to that specific geometry. The pyramid's slope is approximately 52 degrees.
Why is that angle important?
In physics, if you pour a pile of dry sand or gravel from a single point, gravity and friction will cause it to naturally settle into a cone with a 52-degree angle.
Oh, interesting.
It is called the limiting angle of natural falling. It represents absolute, zero-stress physical stability.
Makes sense.
Furthermore, Xuefeng argues that this specific shape minimizes wind resistance, forcing brutal desert storms to slide seamlessly over it. Because of its mass and its position aligning perfectly with Earth's magnetic grid, it moves synchronously with tectonic shifts, making it practically immune to earthquakes.
It is an immortal machine.
Basically, yeah.
But honestly, the wildest story in this entire section has to be Dr. Masu's discovery. If you are listening to this and thinking, okay, sharpening a razor blade is one thing, but creating life, well, you aren't alone.
Right, it's a big jump.
But the author uses this next anecdote to make a massive leap. According to the text, this Egyptian archaeologist excavated a sealed tomb 27 feet underground.
Okay.
When they finally broke open the stone door after 4 months of grueling digging, a large dust-covered gray cat arched its back, hissed fiercely, and literally pounced at the excavators.
A live cat.
A live cat, in a tomb sealed for 4,000 years. The text notes it died a few hours later in a modern lab, but the implication is earth-shattering.
To say the least.
The energy field of the pyramid cavity somehow suspended its biological life, pausing its cellular decay, allowing it to guard its master for millennia.
It is a staggering claim about the manipulation of biological life through geometry and resonance. However,
Yeah.
this brings up an immediate, glaring contradiction in the text's own narrative.
That's it.
If the pyramids are these incredible, life-giving, energy-harnessing machines capable of suspending a cat's life and supercharging bean sprouts, why are they historically so deeply associated with death?
Oh.
Why do we have the infamous Pharaoh's curses?
The dark side of the pyramids.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
the text definitely does not shy away from this. It lists some incredibly grim statistics to build its case.
This is pretty dark.
We have all heard of the curse of King Tutankhamun, but the essay details the actual fallout. After that specific tomb was opened in 1922, 22 people directly connected to the excavation died mysteriously within just 3 years.
22 people.
Yeah. One archaeologist died from a simple mosquito bite that became violently infected and turned into a carbuncle. Others died of sudden pneumonia, unexplained shock, and even suicide.
And the essay extends this invisible danger straight into modern times, too.
It does.
It cites an American Medical Journal report claiming that a terrifying 40% of British tourists who visit the interior of the pyramids die of cancer within 10 years of their trip.
40%. That cannot be right.
That's what the text claims. It also notes that individuals who attempt to climb to the very apex of the structure often experience severe vertigo, fall into comas, and die.
Wow. As wild as all that sounds, it's fascinating how the author uses actual scientific hypotheses to build this alternate reality, which leads to one of the most jarring pivots in the entire text.
Yeah, the radiation theory.
Xuefeng brings in Professor Davidoff from Miami, who apparently detected actual measurable radiation decay inside the pyramids, but notably not outside them.
Right. And his conclusion, the pyramids were actually nuclear waste storage facilities built by prehistoric extraterrestrials.
It just keeps escalating.
But the logic here is consistent with the thermos analogy you made earlier.
Oh, right, the insulation.
Exactly. The incredibly thick limestone shell isn't just trapping cosmic energy. It is acting as massive radiation shielding. It prevents the toxic nuclear decay from leaking out into the environment.
And those legendary curses.
The text suggests they were not magic at all. They were just a pragmatic way to keep primitive, developing humans away from the highly radioactive danger zones.
So what does this all mean? When you take a step back and look at the board, the artificial stones, the cosmic math, the alien architects, the microwave energy, the 4,000-year-old cat, and the nuclear curses, what is the author's ultimate unifying conclusion?
Shifeng presents a grand theory that scales far beyond Egypt.
Okay.
The text claims that pyramids are a global, engineered network. They are found hidden under the oceans in the Pacific and Atlantic, in Japan, deep in Africa, and even in New Zealand.
All over the place.
Everywhere. And while mainstream science dates the Egyptian pyramids to roughly 4,500 years ago, the text claims the oldest pyramids in this global network are actually 2 billion years old.
2 billion years. That predates complex life on Earth.
Which is exactly the author's point. The ultimate theory presented in the essay is that these structures are alien laboratories.
Just flat out alien labs.
Yep. They were designed by highly advanced celestial beings, instructed by a supernatural creator to accumulate and focus cosmic energy for the express mechanical purpose of creating life on Earth from scratch.
So that's what the energy is for.
Exactly. The specific dimensions of the pyramids in Egypt were supposedly calibrated to the exact frequency required to synthesize human life.
But wait, what about the mummies? What about the massive sarcophagi, the gold masks, the pharaohs?
According to this text, the mummies are a complete red herring.
Really?
They were totally incidental to the structure's true purpose. The author argues that the Jed pharaohs were placed inside these pre-existing ancient alien machines strictly as a psychological deterrent.
So they were just like trespassing.
Basically, the pharaohs were revered by the local populations as literal gods on Earth. By turning these machines into sacred burial sites, it created an impenetrable religious taboo.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was a psychological security system designed to prevent ordinary humans from breaking in, accidentally irradiating themselves, or worse, stealing the angel's secret of human creation stored within the machinery.
It is an absolutely breathtaking reframing of history. I mean, to summarize this wild ride for you, we started with an unsolvable logistical nightmare where a non-existent population of 50 million humans supposedly moved millions of 2-ton stones using palm trees that would have snapped in half.
Right.
The text breaks that paradigm down, suggesting instead that we are looking at artificial, chemically poured geopolymer rocks.
With human hair trapped inside.
Yes, and these rocks form mathematically perfect, sootless chambers that act as massive cosmic microwave resonators. Resonators capable of sharpening razor blades, suspending the life of ancient cats, and ultimately guarding the radioactive secrets of a 2-billion-year-old alien life creation laboratory.
It is undeniably a massive amount of paradigm-shifting information to process.
Yeah, it really is.
But I think for you, as someone invested in constantly learning and challenging your own assumptions, there is immense value in exploring divergent texts like this one.
Totally agree.
Even if you find the extraterrestrial conclusions highly unorthodox or the physics debatable, engaging with this material forces us to look at genuine, unsolved archaeological anomalies with fresh eyes.
Like the lighting issue.
Right. Mainstream science still struggles to fully explain the pristine, sootless chambers deep underground. We still grapple with how an ancient civilization achieved such profound cosmic mathematical precision.
It's true.
Reading texts like Su Feng's shakes us out of our intellectual complacency. It reminds us that human history is rarely as neat, tidy, or fully understood as a high school textbook summary would have us believe.
It really does make you look at the entire world differently. And there is one final lingering thought from the text that I want to leave you with today.
Let's hear it.
The essay mentions that the Egyptian pyramids, with their specific square bases and 52-degree angles, were uniquely tuned to gather the exact frequency of energy needed to create human life.
Right, the human frequency.
But it also explicitly states that there are other pyramids scattered across the globe and buried under the oceans with entirely different base shapes.
Really?
Yeah, some are built as triangles, others as pentagons, or even hexagons. If we follow the author's logic, these different geometries were built to gather entirely different frequencies of cosmic energy.
Energy meant for what?
Energy meant for the creation of non-human life forms. So the next time you are out exploring and you see a strangely shaped ancient ruin, or even a bizarre, highly geometric geological formation, you have to look at it and wonder, what specific kind of life was that shape meant to create?